Oh, let me try go live again. Okay. Okay. I think we're officially live. I'm still getting used to YouTube live streaming.
There we go. Yeah.
Okay. And then I'm gonna make sure I've started recording on my end. I've been going through a lot more processes lately. All right. Anybody who's waiting in the chat, welcome to the stream. I'm gonna do a little bit of talking here really quick to talk about what we're up to today. We do have a few people on a Zoom call here chatting with us. I'm gonna have you introduce yourselves a couple of times if that's okay. Once in kind of this pre-show kind of pre-talking for anyone watching in the chat, and then there's a good chance this section will be edited out entirely when we re-upload it to YouTube. So I'll ask you what your names are again once we start the game, if that's cool with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so who do we have here? Who do we have in chat right now?
Hey everyone. So I'm Josh.
I'm Emily.
And I'm Brandon.
All right, and what so these are the developers of the game we're about to play called Weird Hat Fight. Kind of excited for this. This was a game produced at the University of Utah by our talented grad students. We have 3 of them in the Zoom call right now chatting about the game and its process, as well as a bunch of the developers in the chat as well. So if you're watching this on the live stream, you're free to ask any questions of the developers, talk about the game. One of the things I'm excited about is that this game is trending really well on Steam right now. Can any of you developers kind of talk to how it's doing on Steam?
Yeah, let me go pull up the stats. So we have, in general, we're nearing 28,000 purchases, quote unquote, according to Steam, with 12,000 people having actually played it about. Do note that number is people who've played it in our game is multiplayer. So that number is probably 2 to 4 times bigger for actual number of people who've played compared to what Steam says. So yeah,
right,
doing pretty well.
So this is multiplayer, but can you play single player yet, or is it pretty much?
No, there is no single player
Okay,
mode.
so there's no AI on the other end.
Nope.
All right, so anyone watching this, you must have friends to play. But how does the multiplayer work? How do you play with your friends?
So it fully supports local multiplayer. And additionally, we make use of a feature that Steam has called Steam Remote Play Together, which lets you invite people through the internet, even if like only one of you has the game downloaded or whatnot. And that is how you can play online with the multiplayer, which is what we're going to be using today.
All right, so here's what I think we should do, if it's okay with you guys. I think we should just start playing, and then we'll just talk game development. How does that sound?
Sure.
Super casual. All right. So really quick, this game can be found on Steam. It is right here. You can see it on my dashboard. If you look under the browsing sections on the free-to-play games, I believe it's trending right now on the front page, if I'm not mistaken.
I would have to go look to verify that.
But if not,
possibly.
you can just type in Weird Hat Fight to find it on Steam. Is it playable?
Second page on new and trending on
Second page, still pretty hot right now, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we are so walk me through this now. Say I want to play with a friend. How do I get started?
Okay. Do you want us to host or do you want to host?
What would be better? Would it be better to have me host to kind of show how it's done, or
do you have Brandon on your friends list?
I don't know if I do.
Then one of us should host.
Oh, I do? Yeah, why don't we just have one of you host, just to...
Okay. Shall I do it, or do you want to, Emily, or?
You can do it, Josh.
All right. So for hosting it, I am going to launch the game. You obviously can't see this because this is on my computer. And then once it finishes opening, I'm going to invite Gabe and everybody else, and he will see a pop-up.
All right, I'm waiting for the pop-up.
And he, as you'll notice, does not, in fact, actually have to launch the game for this. He doesn't actually technically even need it installed.
That is awesome. So I didn't need to update the optimized version. That's awesome.
Yep. Let's see. There's Emily. I need to go find Gabe. There we go. Nope.
And Insane X in the chat says, I've installed the game a few hours ago. Unfortunately, when I wear a hat, it seems I can't do any attack with it by pressing B, red button on my Xbox controller. What am I doing wrong, please?
Do you know which hat you're having issues with? Also, you didn't. Here we go. Remote play together.
I see it. Okay, we're gonna.
Brandon, I'm not sure I have you on my friends list.
It's weird. Okay. Here, it's just I can just type in it's the same username as my Discord Discord username. Just
All right, let me just send you a friends request then.
So Insane X said, and I may be able to answer this one. It worked with the frog hat, but the attack seemed to have no effect.
So the frog hat specifically does not actually do anything unless you're hitting somebody else who's wearing a hat. It's a bit of a weird behavior, we know, but that was the best way we found to make it balanced because it is actually very strong. What the frog hat does is it steals a hat from somebody else who's wearing it. You should have gotten a friend request from me, Brandon.
let me look. Yeah.
Can you re-invite me to Steam Play again?
Sure.
Okay, while
You should still have an invite. Let me cancel the invite. and give you a new one.
while you're all doing that, I am going to send out some more social media notices that we've gone live. And yep, VD. I'm gonna give a shout out to some of the people in the chat. VD Squid, I am Night Fury, Insane X, and yeah, I think that's it. Thanks for stopping by.
I can't connect to the remote computer.
Interesting. Good old technical difficulties. Anybody else having issues connecting?
Yeah, the same.
All right, Emily, why don't you try hosting?
All right.
I will exit out of your request then.
So yeah, the unfortunate thing is that since we're using Steam Remote Play Together for that, any issues that crop up tend to be Steam's issues, and we can't really fix those.
Hold on. I need to install it because I'm on my laptop. I'm not at my
Let me try
desktop.
restarting the game and inviting people again and see if restarting it fixes the issue.
Let me see if I can do it real quick.
I got an invite from Brandon. Let's see if I can join. Need to actually close the game because I opened it. So one moment.
I just need Gabe's invite or Steam stuff.
Okay, here we go. Remote play together. Why is this not doing this? Okay. Apparently this is super easy, right?
Dang, I can't connect to remote computer again.
Yeah, so we might have issues because it looks like Steam may be having technical difficulties right now.
Okay.
This is so unfortunate.
It's okay though. You know, the beautiful thing is either we troubleshoot and it works, but all the stuff in the chat can just be edited out. So don't stress about it. We'll get it going. So that's the thing. Do we want to try and troubleshoot it a little bit?
We can keep trying, but I don't really know what else we can do here. Because
how would I host it? What do I do to host it?
You want to try hosting? All right, yeah, let's have you try hosting. So launch the game.
Okay. So I just hit play. Sounds like worst case scenario, we reschedule.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love the EAE splash screen. Weird hat fight. Looks like some of this has been updated. This is beautiful. Weird hat fight. Here we go. Okay, so I'm in the game.
All right. Enter a lobby by just clicking the play button, and then you press Y on your controller.
Okay.
And then you'll have to use a mouse, which is a little inconvenient, but that's the
Oh, no problem. Okay.
interface Steam has.
So here we go. So I'm the host and a player. So now I need to invite. So I've got Animus, Wrath, Baxter, and that's it.
I put my friend stuff in the Discord. The Weird Half Fight.
Yeah,
Discord.
let's check before we bother with that. Let's check that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
It can actually start. So right-click us, and there should be an option, and there's on our names, and there should be an option to invite to remote play together.
Remote play together. You got it.
And we'll see if we get connection errors this time. Yep, connection errors. Looks like Steam's just having issues right now.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Dang.
So
Check if Steam has like a server status.
yeah,
that I
find
can
out.
see
Find out if
this.
we're dead in the water. So let's while we're all here together, we might as well kind of explore all the possibilities. Mad Momster in the chat, how's it going, my friend? Everybody, welcome to the stream. We are trying to play a live remote play game on Steam called Weird Hat Fight. Apparently, Steam's servers are having some hiccups. They're having some issues, and they are not allowing us to connect. And I'm gonna be honest, like, I've played this multiple times with developers in the past. We've never had this issue, so I would say this probably isn't very common.
Yeah, I can't find a Steam server status for remote play together.
VD Squid has a question for you, though. Are you gonna release this on the Switch?
We are not. We did contact Nintendo and start going through the process, and they made it clear that they do not like student games on their platform. So, yeah, we did start on that process, but it went dead in the water.
Okay. Well, I think a thing to keep in mind too is this game is in a really good spot where you went through the whole process, and I think you did it really in a smart way, where you did an early access, and then at the end of the semester, after you've gotten feedback and actual playtesting from the real world, you did the full release. At that point, your entire team has graduated, and many of you are going on to different jobs, and so it's actually very difficult to update and keep up a university game after your graduation. So it's very uncommon that they would be worked on afterwards.
Let me see if I found something online. Let me see if you try it. It's just like disabling hardware encoding in the advanced host settings, which I don't know where that is.
I know where that is. I just don't know why that would do anything, considering. All right, I'm gonna send you another invite, Emily, and we can check if it's resolved itself in the past 2 minutes, and if it hasn't, we might just have to call it technical issues.
Sure.
I guess we could try not directly inviting people. There's a chance that would work.
Oh, I'm
Did
here.
it work?
It
Hey.
worked.
All right, so Steve has resolved the issue. I am sending you guys invites.
Sweet. Success. Sweet success.
Up there I am. All right.
Give me 1 second. There we go. There we go.
So do I just close out of this bad boy? Connected. Let's go. All right. Where am I? Oh, there I am. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, friends of video games and indie game development everywhere, we have resolved our issues and we are now live. I believe all 4 of us are up here running around.
Yep.
Somebody was able to get on top of the cup.
Yeah, the secret
Go back
strat.
here and throw a party.
All right, everybody, welcome to the stream. We're playing a game called Weird Hat Fight. It is currently trending on the free section of Steam, and I am here playing with the developers. Several of the developers of the game are in chat, but they are also on a Zoom call with me now, so we can talk to the developers, ask them questions, find out more about this game, what makes it tick, and why everybody should go download it for free right now on Steam to play with their friends. So as we get started, Josh, do you mind telling us a little bit about the game and who's in the chat with us?
Yeah, so Weird Hat Fight is a party game where you use magical hats to fight your friends to the death. I'm Josh. I'm the lead engineer and designer. And Emily, Brandon, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Sure. I'm Emily. I was a lead artist, and I guess came up with the original pitch for this game.
I'm Brayden. I'm also one of the artists for the game.
Awesome. Brandon, Josh, and Emily, welcome, and some of the developers are in chat as well. Why don't we just get playing, and we'll talk a little bit. From the chat, VD Squid said this kind of looks like Gang Beasts, but hat-based.
Yeah, Gang Beasts was one of our inspirations. You can see that with a lot of the more physics-based interactions in our game.
All right, let's jump into it. What do I need to do now? Press start?
So, yep, press start, and we'll let you choose the map. Up, and somebody must have either there was a glitch or somebody pressed start twice.
We got the map. So what's happening right now? So now we have the camera zoom in coming down to the fighting arena.
So we're loading in, and now we fight.
All right, so the beautiful game of this. I love. Oh, I am already getting trashed. So I'm playing with well-trained professionals here. So.
Oh my! I went flying.
So someone was asking earlier about the frog hat. I just use it to steal the bunny hat. If anyone wants to know, I'm the green character. And so, what is the name of this game?
Oh,
what's my goal here?
Yeah, so we're all trying to knock each other off the edge, Smash Bros. Style. And much like Smash Bros. Also, as you hit each other, you're doing damage, which makes it much easier to knock other people off the edge.
That's awesome. And how long did this game take to develop?
This game was developed over the course of a year. Through our last semester of college, of our master's degree.
And when we say a year, what does that mean? Is that 12 full months?
I can't do math right now, so you'd know better.
It's probably more like 8 or 9, right? Like a school year.
Yeah,
because you don't count the summer.
Yeah.
Right. So this is just a fall and spring semester, with fall break, winter break, all that stuff in between. So no small feat. Basically, 2 semesters.
How do you have 300%? You need to get out of here.
I'm amazing.
Nope, I'm fine. Don't ask questions.
Give me the hat. Give me the hat.
What does the party hat do? That's new.
So the party hat knocks everybody back and randomly gives you a new hat.
Oh, that's awesome. So that's a new addition.
Yes.
Okay.
That was our final hat that got added as we left early access.
So I definitely have to be paying attention here, but as we're going in, I'm going to try to read some of the questions from chat. But also, let's talk about how many hats are there?
There are 5 total, I believe.
So let's start with the first one, the bunny hat. What does that do?
It lets you hop up with a super jump, and you can also ground pound, which knocks people back and does damage.
Yep, so I have the bunny hat on. I am jumping with A, and then ground pounding with B, and then there's an area effect around my feet, knocks my opponents out of the way. And I think I may have been defeated. So now I can talk a little bit while you're playing. What does the Knight's hat do?
Knight hat lets you charge in a line very fast and knocks back people who you hit. And also makes you kill yourself on accident a lot because you move very fast.
4th place for me, 4th place to me. Okay, so what about, let's play again. Hit start.
All right, we'll let you choose the stage.
All right, here we go. We're gonna choose this one. Okay, so Insane X says the other skins, such as the dragon hat and the helmet and the sword, didn't have any effect with the B button.
That is very odd because, as you can see, they should and do on this, which is the live build.
Oh, I've already been knocked off. Okay, so we talked about which ones we missed. We did the bunny hat, we did the party hat. Let's talk about the frog hat.
Oops. The frog hat lets you steal the hat from somebody else. I'm looking to see if I could find one, but it looks like there's not any around right now.
Ooh, this looks like
no effect. There's one. It has no effect if you're not wearing a hat, or if your target, the person you hit, isn't wearing a hat. But it does let you steal the person's hat, which puts you in a very beneficial circumstance most of the time. If they don't have a hat, you just kind of have to drop it because you can't do much with it.
This seems like a dangerous level to have the knight helmet.
This is a dangerous level to have anything.
Honestly. Because you can get stuck in the favorite part is you get stuck in the grinder.
How big was your team?
We had, I want to say, 7 people.
7 people. How many artists? How many engineers? How many producers?
3 artists, 4 engineers, no producers.
No producers. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And how is
Not
that
by
working?
choice.
So typically when you don't have a producer, someone kind of has to step in. So was there anyone that was like at least a faux producer?
Mostly me, and then we split a lot of the producer-related tasks across the whole team.
I kind of love that. Would you do it again that way, or do you feel like you maybe could have used a producer?
We would have loved a producer, but
I think it still worked out pretty
it did.
well. Yeah, plus I mean we got some help from other teams. Like we, the team that did Sword of Atlas, we published the game on Steam through their publishing studio. Connor was a big help with that, and then Archer also helped with music, and they were on Vila. So
That's awesome. So speaking of music, how did you come up with the music for this?
sorry, I misspoke. Archer did the sound effects. We actually talked to Berkeley School of Music, and we got someone who did all the actual like songs for like the music part. So
yeah, they did a fantastic job with all our music.
yeah.
I actually love this right now for all the developers watching. We do have some of the members of chat playing the game. They are seeing some bugs, which begs the question for me to ask you next is how did it help to have it on early access on Steam? Were you able to find some of those early bugs and issues that maybe you wouldn't have found otherwise, or?
Yes, a few. For the most part, we didn't actually get, unfortunately, that much feedback from people while we were in early access. It turned out people just weren't feeling very chatty.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of it was but we did get a few.
That's great. And how difficult was it doing a remote play game? Do you feel like that affected play testing and how much feedback you were able to get, or?
I feel like doing a multiplayer game affected the play testing, but I don't feel like the remote play aspect made it any harder.
Just
if anything, it made it easier.
Multiplayer in general.
Yeah, because it meant that to play test the game thoroughly, you actually had to get multiple people together, which meant it was much harder to solo play test.
That's awesome. And I know you made this in Unity. It was on the splash screen earlier. Can you tell us your decisions on Unity and maybe your early development process and how that started?
Yes, so we actually prototyped the game in Unreal, and then we sat down and decided and started talking about the direction we wanted the game to go. And we decided we wanted a much more like goofy physics feeling game. And while both Unreal and Unity have very solid physics, and in fact have support for the same underlying physics engine, Unity has better tools to work with that same physics engine.
Victory! Awesome.
So we made the choice to swap to Unreal.
Very cool.
I want to quickly mention for the person who's having issues in the chat, you should check that your Steam controller settings. I know you're not using a Steam controller, but Steam controller settings can still cause weird issues. Your Steam controller settings do not have that button unbound or bound to a different setting, because Steam lets you do that, and it's doesn't warn you that it causes weird things to happen.
That's awesome. And we did get some confirmation in the chat from some of the developers that they are working on the controller bug that you're seeing, or we'll look into it. That's awesome. Start another round. I'm just kind of going through all the different stages. How many stages are there, and what's the question mark? Is that random?
Question mark is random. So yeah, there's 4 stages. Now we're sorry you're running into that issue though. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, my character was running on his own and he just ran off the stage.
I thought we fixed that bug so many times.
It's a feature at this point. I love the little silhouetted characters and hats you have in the background. That it really adds a lot of life to it. What was the decision behind that?
Corinne.
Yeah, Corinne kept saying it was kind of like blank. So we're like, okay, what if we just have like clouds, like it's in the sky? So Josh made a cloud material, and I just kind of used some of the base model for the guy and the dragon hat, and then the one that's off the screen right now is actually the old vacuum hat that we had to cut.
And what would the vacuum hat have done?
So yeah, the idea behind the vacuum hat was it was like you could spit the person, you could suck the person in, and you like shoot them out. It just like it probably could have gotten worked on and made it work, but it was just taking up too much time. So we decided it was better to just cut it and move on.
I love it. I love it. Really smart. A lot of scrubbing. So was Corinne right? That's the question. Do you feel like this?
I mean, I think the clouds look good.
Yeah.
I think they look awesome, and that was some of my comment before. Even some little addition like that, even reusing some of your assets, that's a smart way to do it because of the small team size and the amount of time. But I'm not gonna lie, it makes the background a lot more interesting, doesn't distract from the gameplay, and makes it feel like a much more polished experience, in my opinion. So very cool. Matthew Sligting says, "Rest in peace, vacuum hat." Anything else you had to cut from the game?
I think the vacuum hat was really the only big thing. We had some more things that we were hoping to potentially do that we didn't get a chance to, but those were never things that we were like working on or thought that we'd definitely get done.
Yeah, I think that was the only thing that was actually like tangible that we cut. The other things were just like, oh, we don't have time to work on them like to start, so we'll just cut them now.
So now that you've had some time, you've all graduated, the game is finished, it's published. Now that you've had some time to reflect, a little bit of a post-mortem, anything you would have done differently or any advice you would have given yourself if you could go back?
Gotten a producer.
Yeah. Bribed someone to be your producer.
Paid them if need be.
Yeah.
So I actually love hearing that. Through my career in academia, I remember when I first started school and teaching at EAE, right? I was actually pretty jaded on the producer program because I was like, I was just really down on it. But over the years, that has completely changed because producers are so critical. So for anyone wanting to get in the game industry, can you all just kind of run that by me? What is the role of producer? What's the role of an engineer? What's the role of an artist? Can you go through some of those for us and just talk about them?
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, let's start with producer because that.
Yeah.
Do you want to go, Emily? Sorry.
Sure. So I know at the program, producer is kind of like a big category where it's like if you're not an engineer or an artist or a tech artist, you kind of get lumped into it. But like the actual role of being a like producer is where you are in charge of tracking the actual like production of like what's getting done and what needs to be done, and like making sure that people get their jobs done and people sure they're checking in, and like just kind of keeping track and managing people and the project itself, which is very helpful. And then also helping with like with publishing and contacting maybe like, you know, any like music people, like the Berklee School of Music, like contacting them or contacting like anybody else that we like out, you know. So I think that's the main producer and like production role, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I love that's a really good answer, and I think that's the misconception. I think a lot of people in production think, well, I can't code and I'm not an artist, so I'll be a producer and I'll just tell people what to do, right? That's kind of the ugly truth, but the actual truth is that the producers are the liaison between the disciplines, right? So they're not only managing and helping track what people need to do, but they're helping people bring together between those disciplines so that the engineer is getting what they need from the artist and the artist is getting what they need from the engineer, and essentially they're there to keep the wheels moving as the whole group. So is that kind of like what you felt like you were missing with producer, that you didn't have someone to kind of help grease the wheels, as it were?
Yeah, to some extent. That was the other big thing that producers do that we felt that we were missing, is that they prepare the materials to help show off the game internally and present things at like sprint reviews and stuff.
Right.
And that is a not insignificant portion of time in the game development was spent preparing those, because we
Did you guys let me win? Did you guys let me win?
I definitely did.
That's awesome.
I was hoping to keep my first place streak the whole time.
I guess I'm not. Somebody's still in. Who's blue?
It's me. I'm actually really trying.
Oh, good. Okay, so I'm not that bad. And we both have frog hats, so I'll just steal yours. And I don't want another frog hat. Here, I want that bunny hat.
I give it back. Don't worry.
All right, got it. Yeah, buddy. Oh, snap. There we go.
No.
Stay on, stay on.
It's too far away.
Yes! I think that was my first win ever. All right, as we keep going, let's go down the line. This is a fun chat. Who wants to break down the engineer's role? What does an engineer do in game development?
I can do that. So engineers are programmers. They program the game. They make the game. They make the tools for everybody else. Basically, actually implementing the game is the game, and the game's code is the engineer's job.
So just straight up entering the code.
For the
You're
most part,
the
yeah. There's like a million different types of engineers that specialize in doing different things, all related to entering the code.
Right. So,
write the code.
Did your decisions play a big role in deciding, say, Unreal versus Unity? Was that from a coding standpoint, engineer standpoint, or was that like an artist consideration?
That the Unreal versus Unity decision for us specifically ended up being a feature set decision. So that was made in part by everybody.
Okay.
For what we wanted. That was laid out for what it kind of analyzed and laid out by the engineers for, we can do this if we have this engine and this if we have this engine. But that wasn't a decision solely made by any one group.
Awesome. And Matthew's in the chat, so we'll have him answer in the chat in just a minute when we get to tech artists. But what does an artist do in game development? This game and in general.
I'll let one of the artists answer that.
Yeah. I mean, oh no, did my controller disconnect? I think artists and tech artists kind of they overlap on some things, but for us it was mostly just doing all the modeling and the texturing and like some of the 2D and UI art. I would say it's usually what like artists do compared to tech artists. I don't know if that's particularly right.
Yeah, I think usually it's split up into like kind of like specialties, but because our team was so small, we had to kind of learn new things.
Oh no.
What are some new things y'all had to learn that surprised you?
I had to like relearn Unity because it's been a while, and last time I used Unity I was doing like pixel art stuff and not 3D, but that's not really
I had to do a lot of like stuff with the Steam page and then some of the effects, which was I'm a 3D artist, so learning that was kind of an adventure.
Yeah, I think it's surprising the hats you have to wear, right? No pun intended. But you can't just be one thing. Like it's on a small team with like this, right? There are certain things that you have to do out of necessity, I would say.
I feel like that's kind of like true for like artists in general in the industry. It's kind of like learning like to push past your comfort zone and try new things.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. So tech artists, did we cover that one? I think Matthew's in the chat. Brandon, were you a tech artist? I can't remember.
No, it's just the artist.
Okay, so two artists. So we'll read the chat if Matthew wants to answer in the chat. But that's awesome. So speaking of wearing many hats, I know during the semester I pushed a lot like on social media and branding and getting your name out there. And I always got pushback, which is perfectly okay because you can only do what you can do during the semester. But on that same note, you have gotten a lot of a significant amount of coverage for your game. 25,000, was it 25K purchases? Is that correct?
I think Josh just did the.
Yeah, I'd have to alt tab to check, and that would pause the game. So,
but roughly, right?
Roughly,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it was
Yeah.
27,000 was the number gave.
For those watching, engineers are very precise. It cannot be 27. It has to be, or 25. It has to be 27. I love it. But roughly, you've gotten a lot of downloads, a lot of exposure. So what do you
Yeah.
attribute that successful exposure? I know you weren't able to do a lot of outreach. You didn't have time for that. So where is this coming from?
I wish I knew.
Same. I know we got on Steam a lot earlier just because we needed to test it using remote Steam play. That might have helped.
Yep.
Get like a little boost.
I can tell you one thing. This is something to pay attention to, and it's one of the things that worked very well for you. I believe when you do have a feature that is not as utilized in games, like the remote play feature, and that's something that Steam has invested a lot of money in, right, and a lot of effort. So since there aren't a lot of developers creating those, my guess is that even helped them push you up a little bit higher to showcase the games that are being worked on with remote play. So I think that actually helped you.
If they did, then we were completely unaware of it.
Right.
I think it might also be just the climate of like what people are looking for.
Yeah,
Like
might
nowadays,
be.
it's just something casual and easy to play with, or easy to pick up and play with your friends.
Yeah, and anecdotally, one of the things too is I noticed, because I do some sprint review videos that eventually some of them get posted on YouTube as well, and I noticed the search algorithm through YouTube, a lot of people are searching for the weird hat fights, which means that I think when things are on the top of the free-to-play list, they're searched for, and if people can find content on that, that helps push it. So you have a lot of things working in your favor, actually. So who knows exactly what that is, right?
Yeah.
Matthew mentioned in the chat that the tech artists, they handled the game's VFX and the character animations. So Matthew's not here, but what can you tell me how you went through the animation process and the character development for these?
I completely forgot which character I was.
So we have a rather complicated, somewhat system made by our fantastic engineer Shilpa, which is what, if you notice, the characters are ragdolling all over the place. We're using a system, something called active ragdolls, which means that we can play animations while our characters are ragdolls. So the characters are fully physics enabled and interact directly as if they were ragdolls with everything, but they can play animations at the same time. So that adds some extra complications. Matthew was but Shilpa did a great job of setting up the system so that Matthew could make animations like you would normally for just about any game. And Matthew did a great job making the animations for the game. So, yeah.
This is fantastic. And out of curiosity, you've gotten a lot of comments on Steam. Any comments stand out to you? What is the general perception you're getting from the game?
I haven't actually been reading let's see, the Steam comments. That we get a lot of really short positive reviews.
Yeah.
With people
Okay.
saying something like yes, and that's the entire review.
That's awesome.
So
Matthew
So, like-
mentioned in the chat they also did the frog hat animation, so there's a lot of little things, a lot of nuances. Someone else had a comment.
There was like one commenter saying it some really profound good thing about our game at the end of the reviewer. They were like, but I also need friends.
That's funny. Yeah, no, that's always one of the hiccups. It's a pro and a con, is that these friend kind of meetup games can be really, really popular, but then it does also necessitate that you need to find people to play with, right?
Yeah.
So are there any features, like if this were to be further developed, what feature would you want to implement?
more content, really, more hats, more
Yeah.
more stages.
Would you consider like a placement system, like so you wouldn't have to find friends, something like Fall Guys or?
That would probably be fun. that would require a lot of work because just the way Steam Remote Play Together works, we'd have to scrap Steam Remote Play Together and implement full multiplayer, online multiplayer, to even start with that. So, yeah.
So that would be pretty extensive.
So that is, yeah. So that would be awesome, but it's also so far out of scope. We can't. We're not even really thinking about it. So.
No, that is a good answer.
Oh, the fan.
Watch out for the fan.
Alright. Whoever stole my purple color, I'm gonna come beat you up.
That's
Alright.
me.
Does the frog hat? I can't remember. Does the tongue do any damage if you're just licking another player?
If the player does not have a hat, it doesn't do anything, but it does
Okay.
do some damage if you steal a hat.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm
Not
going.
very much damage
Okay.
though.
What are your favorite hats? What's from everybody in the chat?
I mean, my favorite is the bunny hat. I'm a little biased because I made the bunny hat.
I really like the frog hat.
No, I got yeeted.
I just
Easy.
like how the dragon hat looks because it's super dopey.
The
Yeah,
dragon
hat's-
dragon hat does look nice.
Get out of here.
I'm impressed with the party hat implementation here at the end. How's that? How do you feel like that has been received?
I don't think we've heard any specific feedback on the party hat in particular. It really came at the end of the development cycle and was meant to fill out the hat roster and solve kind of two problems. We were running into an issue where it was too commonly showing up that we'd run into all of one hat, just because people were picking up hats. So we'd end up with, for the most part, all one hat after the game went on long enough. And then the other issue was the easy way to fix that was just add some more hats that there was less chance of the same hat appearing in a row.
Awesome.
And then the other one thing that it was meant to really resolve was, I had the second part of what I was going to say and then I completely forgot it. So
I ran off.
it was solving a second problem too. But I don't remember what that.
No, that's
was.
cool. I am Night Fury says in the chat that the dragon hat is awesome. I agree.
Yeah. Yep. Who's this red player? Because I don't want to just push you off the edge if you're not here.
Do it.
I am Night Fury says in the chat, I would personally like to switch to actually writing netcode instead of the stream remote play, but that is just my personal option. Also, it takes a lot of time, so it probably would have been way too time consuming if we did that during the semester instead of Steam remote play.
Yeah, I think we all would have liked if we could do proper multiplayer instead of relying on Steam remote play, but it was just for anybody who doesn't make games. Writing netcode is really, really, really time consuming and bug prone, and is just overall basically makes everything 10 times more work.
So how was that? So how was the Steam remote play integration? Was that pretty easy, or what was the hardest thing with that?
So Steam Remote Play is incredibly easy to integrate. You don't actually have to really do anything other than make a local multiplayer game and then press a button to turn it on in Steam. To make it so that it's easier to invite people, it's a little bit extra steps, and the hardest part of that was tricking Steam into doing something that it doesn't want to, that the interface doesn't let you do. There is no way to actually if you go and play the game and you press the Y button while in the lobby menu, you'll notice that the Steam Remote Play Together menu pops up. There is no way in the Steam API to actually do that. Instead, what we do is you send instead what you can do is you can send a friend invite to Remote Play Together to specific people.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't want that. We wanted to pull up the menu. And the way that we figured out how to do that is you send an invite to yourself to join, and it technically just instantly invites you to instantly join your own session, which does nothing. Because Steam you're not obviously not allowed to join your own Steam Remote Play Together session.
Right.
and it pops up the window. So that was the
Nice.
hardest part, was tricking Steam into doing something it really didn't want to do.
But once you figured it out, you have the secret sauce now.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Still looks a little glitchy, but that's mostly Steam's problems, not ours. Because it would be nice if Steam just let us open up the menu directly. But
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if that's is that feedback you've given to Steam, or is that something that
that is not, because there's not really a great place to give Valve that feedback.
if you're listening, Steam, make that easier.
Yes,
to,
we would
to
love
log
that
in.
button. Just let us open the menu.
All right, so this is awesome. I'm super proud of all of you. It's an incredibly fun game, incredibly fun little, especially a party game to get in and just beat up some of your friends. Right?
Yeah.
As we finish up the stream, some of you mentioned some of the hats you're most proud of. But what are some things what are some accomplishments here that you're all like particularly fond or proud of?
I guess I'll start. Our whole engineering team, we right from the get-go built several really rigorous systems that fit the game perfectly. We didn't have to like tweak them or rework them in any significant way throughout the entire game development process, which for anybody who's made games, that's really rare, that you just correctly anticipate your needs on the first go. So I'm really proud of our engineering team for doing that.
I'm really proud of the slash art in the title art. It's so good.
Yeah, I mean,
really-
I don't know. I think the art hit the style that we were going for pretty well. So
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm really proud. I'll say I think all those answers are phenomenal. For me, I love how you stuck to like finding that simple aesthetic, making sure everything worked, and then continue to polish it. You were all so consistent through the entire dev process. You had a vision and you stuck to it, and you really ended up nailing it. So I'm really proud of all of you. Beautiful game, very readable, and just a blast to play against others. Even though I've been doing a lot of talking and getting my trash kicked the entire time, but I'm used to it, right? So it works. It works.
I don't know if you saw that like a couple seconds ago. I saved myself from dying by jumping off someone's head.
Nice. Are there any? So before we finish, here's actually what I want to ask: any pro tips, any developer tips that you can say to give the player an advantage versus their friends?
Here we go. Secret tech. When you have a hat and you let it go, and if you're jumping, it gives you like a double jump. So if you're like falling off the stage, you can. Well, that was not the hat to do it with. The bunny hat. So the bunny hat drops you like a stone. But any other hat, you can like jump off the stage and you need another jump. You toss your hat and you get a little boost.
Almost did it with the bunny hat. That is a pro tip. That is awesome. Any other tips?
If you're willing to be patient with the frog hat, it is the strongest hat in the game by a significant margin. Because you just wait until somebody picks up a good hat, steal their hat, and now they're vulnerable and can't fight back, and you just beat them up with their own hat.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Shout out to Matthew's pro tip: don't die.
Yeah, that's usually a good one. Biggest inspirations for this game. I know we mentioned Gang Beasts.
Gang Beasts and Smash Bros.
Gang Beast, a couple like Human Fall Flat for like some of the art style, and I think the original pitch, my main inspiration was like Stick Fight the game, where you just like it's just like fast paced and you just go, and like lots of different options to use to fight each other with.
I love it. I love it. All right. Let's just finish out this game. For everyone stopping by, thank you so much for watching this. For those watching in the stream, like I said, this will be edited down to probably a 10-minute video. So it'll just kind of be the highlight of this whole conversation. I want to thank the developers for taking the time post-semester to visit, talk about your game, and kind of share some of the development process with anybody who might learn and enjoy finding out more about this game. So where can they go find it? We'll put some of the details in the description, but once again, let's reiterate, where can they find this game?
If you search Weird Hat Fight on Steam, you can find it, and I'm guessing one of our devs in chat will probably post the link directly to the game. But just search Weird Hat Fight on Steam, and you will find it.
And the cost?
Free.
Absolutely free.
Such a deal. And I'm excited to see how this continues to be a success. I think the fact that you've gotten so many downloads means that a lot of people are very interested in this game and this type of game, and that you've done a very good job. So proud of y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so thank you once again. Let's see if I can win a game here. Don't go easy on me here. I love that pro tip of being able to ditch the hat, because with this with the night hat, I am running off the edge constantly.
Yeah, use that to save yourself while using the night hat of dropping the hat. Also, if the frog hat is prepping to steal something from you, you can just drop the hat and punch and beat them up with punching, because they can't do anything if you don't.
I forget that I can punch.
You can also use the night hat to like launch yourself back onto the stage if you're knocked high enough.
Yeah, that's what.
Oh my goodness!
Earlier, people were asking why the frog hat does nothing if you're not wearing a hat. That's why, is that there's counterplay, because it's really strong that it can just steal your hat. So being able to drop a hat and then punch it is the intended counterplay.
So I love that. I love that. It looks like I can jump on the dragon's head and not sustain any damage. Oh no! Checkpoint Professor did not win.
Well,
And
you were
there we
playing
go.
at a disadvantage. You were distracted until you only had one life left.
So here's my goal. Here's my pro tip: find some friends who have never played this, and then practice before you play. That's what I'm gonna do, because I got trashed on. Josh, Brandon, Emily, and the rest of the developers in the chat, thank you so much for hanging out with me this Memorial Day weekend. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and thank you for hanging out.
Yeah, thank you.
Problem.
Okay, we're going to end the stream. Everybody watching in the background, thanks for watching, and we'll see you